There's nothing worse than getting stuck behind a stopped bus. Okay, well, actually, that's worse. That's definitely worse. Stay tuned for more Seattle drivers doing their part to make things worse. From red light runners to distracted dopamine fiends, we've got a little bit of everything today. Now, bad driving can happen anywhere, but you can spot a Seattle driver if you know what to look for. As an example, here's a Bellevue driver turning left in front of another vehicle and causing a crash. In contrast, here's a Seattle driver turning left in front of another vehicle and causing a crash, then mistaking the gas for the brakes, going onto the sidewalk, veering wildly across all lanes of traffic, going onto the other sidewalk, and crashing into a building. It's subtle, but the signs of a Seattle driver are there if you know what to look for. Now, many Seattle drivers find left turns to be challenging, maybe not as challenging as parking on Capitol Hill or getting a date, but still tough. This left-turning driver decides to go for it even though they can't see if the right lane is clear, leading to a totally preventable crash. This driver under the Ballard Bridge has a much clearer view, but they don't even hesitate before turning left in front of an oncoming vehicle. This sedan driver is in less of a hurry, as they take a nice, relaxed left turn into the side of an oncoming car. Now, I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt here and say that they're just trying to clear the intersection and not flee the scene. Unfortunately, that tire is just as jacked up as the driver's vehicle handling skills, and they don't make it too far. After an impromptu meeting in the intersection, they decide to try one more time and nearly cause a second crash. They finally give up, and now they're blocking even more lanes than they were before. This one's a little hard to see, but there's a very impatient driver behind this car moving into the left turn lane, and as soon as they have space, they floor it. That sudden burst of speed means they're unable to avoid another driver that turns left in front of them, leading to a hard hit just off camera. Now, obviously, the left-turning driver is mostly at fault, but if the other driver had been traveling at a more reasonable speed, this crash could have been prevented. Instead, that driver now has a wrecked car, and they're stuck on the side of the road in a sad airbag-filled cave. Keep this scene in mind the next time you think of speeding down surface streets. Now, folks who play Speed Racer on surface streets are dumb, but this next driver takes it even further, crossing the line from mentally deficient to criminally negligent. Watch as they make a right turn onto Alaskan Way. They're going to quickly gain speed and pass other traffic on the road. Continuing on, we see this driver blow through at least one red light, and they are now moving at extremely stupid speed. When this pickup truck swings wide to make a U-turn, that stupid speed means that the driver is unable to avoid a nasty-looking crash. Now, here's a view from another camera. I tried to find out more information about this crash by listening to the scanners and looking online, but I was not able to find anything at all. It does appear that everyone survived, as fatality collisions typically make the news. Either way, this was a bad night for one dumb driver and one innocent victim. Now, speaking of dummies, check out this dope. It appears that they see the right turn arrow and think it's a green light to go straight instead. This puts them right into the path of traffic exiting off I-5, one of the busier intersections in Seattle. Now, instead of backing up and waiting for a green light, they turn on their hazard lights and go for it. What a dumbass. And their shame was captured on 2 different traffic cameras. Now, here's another crash at the same intersection as a driver tries to turn right from the middle lane. They get yeeted right out of the way by another vehicle. Lane change is also consistently difficult for Seattle drivers. At top of the screen here, we have another right turn from the left lane. They did signal this time, but they forgot to check for other traffic. Now, this gray SUV is going to try to save a few minutes by cutting around traffic, but they fail to check their mirrors, and that leads to a 3-car crash. Not saving any time now, are you? Not to be outdone, this driver decides to give in to turn lane temptation and goes speeding around stopped traffic, leading to a 4-vehicle crash with 2 other cars just avoiding the smash-up. Although you can legally travel in the turn lane for up to 200 feet, it's best not to do it at top speed. Again, you're not going to save any time if you spend the next hour waiting for a tow truck. Top of your screen, another driver gives in to turn lane temptation, and they crash into a driver turning left through stopped traffic. Obviously not a viewer of this channel, or they never would have tried that move. And on Rainier Avenue, top of your screen once more, as someone trying to cut through traffic is broadsided by a bus lane bandit. Now we've seen this happen at the same spot multiple times before. What's worse than a bus lane bandit? How about a parking lane pirate? I could be wrong, but this does not appear to be a valid travel lane, which doesn't stop this driver from cruising along right up until they meet another driver trying to change lanes. They get knocked right into the bike lane. Yikes, that could have been much worse. Thankfully, there were no bikers there when the crash happened. If one of these dum-dums kills Salty, the city is going to riot. Now this SUV at the top of your screen is in a valid travel lane, good work, but they're going the wrong way down a one-way street and heading right toward a pedestrian. Thankfully, at the last minute, a heroic light pole leaps into the SUV's path and puts a stop to this potential reign of terror. All over the city, utility poles of all kinds stand ready to protect pedestrians from wayward drivers. Here's one on Aurora Avenue, where a pole stands firm against a driver who leaves the roadway. Watch the top of your screen. Thunk. And here's one on Finney Ridge, once again the top of your screen, and once again an SUV driver who has trouble keeping away from utility poles. In this case, it looks like they failed to navigate a sudden turn in the road. And by sudden, I mean very gradual and easily seen. Now this clip shows the deviousness of Seattle drivers. You think you know what to look for and quickly spot the headlights of two cars appearing to be racing towards the camera. And that's when the crash comes. Not from the front, but from the rear. From the other Seattle driver you didn't even know was there. Now the driver in question seems to have peeled open the side of their car after striking a utility pole on the right shoulder. I hope they have a good body shop because that definitely left a mark. Now single vehicle crashes are common in Seattle and they have many different causes. Speed again is a common factor, especially when combined with wet roads. Watch the center of your screen for a driver who loses control exiting I-5. And here's another driver who can't quite handle the velocity. Possibly because they're 13 years old and driving a stolen car. At least that's my assumption for why this car was empty when police arrived. Now I didn't need to make any assumptions in this next clip since it all plays out in front of the camera. Watch the bottom of your screen. Immediately after the crash, the driver and passenger bail out on foot. This is adjacent to Ballard High School, so it's very fortunate that there weren't any students on the sidewalk when this crash occurred. Well, it's not always speed, sometimes the booze is to blame. Keep an eye on this driver. They hit the median and then flip onto their side, right in front of an SPD patrol car. They were cut from the car and then arrested for DUI. Boom. It's unclear if this next driver is under the influence or just distracted by their cell phone, and that's a problem. Most people would never drive drunk, but many of them still think it's okay to text or scroll or, God forbid, watch videos on the phone while driving. A study by Virginia Tech found that texting while driving makes you 23 times more likely to crash. A driver looking at their phone is less likely to notice that traffic is slowing in front of them, or that traffic in front of them is not moving at all. Sometimes, a distracted driver will see traffic moving in the lane next to them and hit the gas without even looking up. It's a minor crash, but it didn't need to happen at all. To be fair, not all rear-end crashes are caused by distracted driving. Watch this driver coming from the bottom right side of your screen. They coast through a red light, hit the brakes, but still manage to crash into a stopped car and a pole. Then they take off, which makes me suspect that substance abuse might be to blame here. My personal rule of thumb is that if a driver takes off on foot, the car is probably stolen, but if they flee in their car, they're probably drunk, or don't have insurance, or have warrants, or they're just terrible, terrible people. Speaking of terrible people, we have a few more red light runners as we wrap up this video. This driver coming from the right plays follow the leader through a red arrow and pays the price. The tiny brained driver of this white pickup truck floors it through a red light and smashes right into an innocent driver. At 4th and Jackson, a driver shows us that the B in BMW stands for bad at driving. And at the top of your screen, we have a high-speed red light runner that sends another driver spinning. At 4th and Spokane, the driver coming toward us has a red light, which they ignore, and they get hit by another driver also running their newly red light. It's like the red light district up in here, although that's actually further north along Aurora. Well, speak of the devil, here we are on Aurora. Now the driver of this red Mustang thinks they're going to drive off into the sunset, but unfortunately they get demolished by the driver of an SUV that blows their red light at high speeds. A sobering reminder that you can't just trust a green light, you have to check for oncoming idiots before pulling out. One thing that you can trust is that my channel members are awesome. Thank you so much to all of you who support this channel through membership, and a special shout out to my Super STC supporters. You are the sun rising in the east and allowing me to photosynthesize, creatively speaking. Shout out to Mark Siddell, Bluto is watching, Maury, Robert Lindsay, I Am Me, Jonathan Retveld, George Masters, Claire Hoover, Salty Seattle Cyclist, and Maria Brown. I appreciate all of you so much. If you'd like to brighten my days, you can become a member from the watch page of any video or from my main channel profile. If you'd prefer to support the channel with a one-time donation, you can buy me a coffee. And if you're unable to support the channel financially, that's totally okay. Your views and comments mean the world to me. I'm just one weird guy sharing his creativity with strangers online, and it's so special that folks appreciate and connect with it. Until next time, slow down, phone down, eyes up, and thank you for watching.